Welcome to our first session in English for academic and professional purposes. I'm Glenn Michael Jameson B. Piquero, your IELTS teacher. This will be our class flow for the day, the quote of the day, the word of the day, and I'm also going to discuss our competency or your competency or the competency that you should learn. So for you to be able to differentiate language used in different academic texts, then followed by our quiz 1 as your output. So for you to be able to easily understand our lesson, I'll be speaking in both Filipino and English for some of the slides here for you to be able to understand it fully. So let's start with the introduction in EAPP, or the English for academic and professional purposes. In today's society, we have what we call literacy, which covers reading, writing, and speaking, and mostly it means that when you are literate, you are able to do these things. So in the senior high school, we are here to teach you more on the techniques on reading, writing, and speaking. So we will be improving your skills, especially in EAPP. The most important things that you should learn is reading and writing. So let's now begin with our quote of the day. So ayon kay Bonnie Blair, a speed skater, so it's a kind of sport. Winning doesn't always mean being first. Winning means you're doing better than you've done before. So in Tagalog daw, ang pagkapanalo daw or ang panalo ay hindi naman laging ikaw yung nauuna. Minsan, lalo na sa tunay na buhay, ang pagkapanalo ay yung marirealize mo na ikaw ay mas nakahigit or mas better than yesterday. So, that's a simple explanation for that quotation. So, ibig sabihin, for example, in EAPP, so bago ka mag-EAPP ay mahina ka sa English or mahina ka sa pagsulat sa English. After learning our lessons or competencies in EAPP weekly, then I think that you are winning if you did your best to learn new things to make yourself better. So let's now proceed to our word of the day. This will be a common occurrence in most of our lessons. We will have our word of the day for you to be able to expand your um, your knowledge about different words in English. So our word of the day is titivate. It means to make someone or something neater or more attractive, and is a synonym of spruce up. When you use it in a sentence, an example would be her morning routine includes a few minutes spent titivating in front of the mirror. So, yung mga mahilig magpaganda, magpapogi sa salamin, the verb that you are doing is titivating. Pagpapaganda or pagpapapogi bago pumasok or habang nagtatrabaho, nagpapapogi din. At paglabas, bago lumabas ng trabaho, halimbawa ay nagpapaganda or nagme-makeup, that's one way to practice titivating. Let's now have the main lesson, differentiating the language of academic text versus non-academic text. So, ano ba yung sinasabing academic text? So, using our Venn diagram, we will be able to distinguish kung ano ba, halimbawa, saan ba kabilang ang libro and saan kabilang ang newspapers, for example. So, let's start first. When you say academic text, usually it uses formal language. When you say formal language, ibig sabihin dito, hindi ka gumagamit ng mga slang or street words. Hindi ka rin, during writing to sa pagsusulat. So, hindi ka rin gagamit ng mura or swear words. At the same time, when you do formal writing, usually you use correct grammar when constructing sentences. So the next characteristic of an academic text, it is usually written by professionals o yung mga nakapag-aral. Next one, author's name is always present. So just like in books, may mga nakasulat na author, yung mga sumulat ng libro. Isa pang katangian ng academic text ay publishing takes time. Just like our books, usually before the final publication of any book or reference material, it usually takes 1 to 2 years before publishing takes place. Because publishing is a process. So, bago pa ma-publish ang isang libro, kailangan muna yung i-check. So, iba't ibang tao yung nag-check. May nag-check ng grammar, yung proofreader. Meron rin nag-check ng content. So, yung mga content evaluators ng mga libro ay bahagi rin ng nakapagpapatagal ng proseso ng publishing. So, yun yung mga katangian ng academic text. And lastly, reference list or bibliography. Pag tinignan mo usually yung mga libro, yung authors, gumagawa siya yung tinatawag na bibliography. Dito nakalagay yung lahat ng mga libro or reading material or digital media na ginamit niya para mabuo yung libro. So, ang kabaligtaran naman ng academic text ay tinatawag na non-academic text. It usually involves informal writing. For example, you use slang or street jargon. So, pwede mo rin ditong gamitin yung i-practice yung sa text, yung halimbawa, yung pagpuputol or pag-iiba-iba ng spelling para mapadali yung pagsusulat mo. That's informal writing. And usually, these texts can be written by anyone. The author's name may or may not be present. So, usually, hindi naman nakalagay yung ano. Publishing is quick and there's no reference list. So, who among you are reading yung mga Wattpad or manga? So, that's an example of non-academic text. And also, the newspapers. These are non-academic text. Ano naman yung pagkakaparehas or similarities between academic text and non-academic text? Usually, lahat or parehas silang gumamit ng research at ang kanilang audience ay usually malawak or it aims for a wide audience. There's no plagiarism and mostly they are being used by students like you. So, yun. Ito ang pagkakaiba ng academic text versus non-academic text. So, idagdag lang ng sir yung ibig sabihin ng plagiarism. So, when writing academic text, iiwasan dapat talaga ang plagiarism or yung panggagaya dun sa sinulat ng iba or gawa ng iba. So, let's now go to the main meaning of academic writing. So, in this slide, the most important to remember would be in academic writing, usually you are using the third person or objective voice. And academic writing tends to depend heavily on research, factual experimentation, and evidence, in the opinions of other scholars or researchers rather than on the opinions of the author. So, this is academic writing. So, pag susulat ka in the future ng libro, kailangan may basehan or supporting literature coming from other Filipino authors or yung sa mga taga-ibang bansa na scholars and researchers. So, that's academic writing. So, in English for academic and professional purposes, since we will be improving your writing skills, especially after reading an article, you should remember the objectives or the perspectives. We have what we call the first person perspective, yung paggamit ng I or we, yung ikaw mismo. Second person would be using the word you. And the third person are usually using the words he, she, it, or they. So for this slide, you need to remember the different keywords that will identify a sentence point of view. So, yung mga first person, so may mga keywords na I, me, my, mine, our, ours, myself, we, our, ourselves. So, kumbaga inaangkin mo, ikaw mismo, inaangkin mo yung sinulat mo or susulatin mo in the future. So, second person would be you, yourself. So, you are pointing to someone this in the second person point of view. Third person, if the sentence is using she, her, he, him, they, them, herself, hers, himself, his, themselves, theirs. That's the third person point of view. And that's usually what we will use in academic writing, lalo na pag nagsusulat ng research. This is usually in the third person. What's the purpose of academic writing? Ano ba talaga ang layunin na pagsusulat in the academic language? The purpose of writing is usually to inform the reader. So that's the first purpose. And also to provide non-biased facts, so mga walang bias. And backing up claims with evidence. So it's really a work of research. In the field of literature, an academic text may write an essay based on a theory, but shows how that theory can be proven with evidence from the literature. So when you do write your, for example, your research topic, usually you can base it on a theory and you should prove that that theory can be proven by evidence from different literature. So may dapat sumuporta dun sa mga malalaman mo or yung sagot sa katanungan mo sa research, kailangan may mga suportang literature yung mga nasusulat. Pwedeng libro, pwedeng galing sa Google with proper citations, syempre. And pwede rin sa iba't iba pang academic texts. These are the examples of academic writing or academic text. So you may read it. Most of it are familiar to you, like books and book reports, essays, translations, research papers and research articles, conference paper, academic journal. After finishing a 4-year course, usually you make a dissertation or a thesis to obtain your masteral or doctoral degree. So, yun, ito yung mga example na academic text. I think this will be the last part of our lesson for today in EAPP. What are some examples of non-academic writing? Editorial articles or personal opinions, letters to editors, memos, magazine, fiction or non-fiction. So if you can remember, fictions are usually those that are based in fantasy, yung mga katang isip. While non-fiction, usually these are based on real life. nangyari. For example, yung Ibong Adarna, it's a work of fiction, while the book about Goyo, ang Batang General, or Gregorio del Pilar, ang Batang General, is a work under a non-fiction, but they are under non-academic writing. So, kanina nasabi ko na rin, newspapers is also under non-academic writing. Sorry. So, and also digital media like Wattpad, and those posts coming from different social media accounts, that's usually under non-academic writing. So, yung mga napopost sa Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, non-academic writing usually. So, before answering the following quiz, or our first quiz in EAPP, make sure that you rewatch the video, or if you have taken your notes, please review your notes before answering our 25 item quiz. So for our quiz 1, for numbers 1 to 3, enumerate the 3 parts of literacy that a senior high school student should learn. For numbers 4 to 5, explain the meaning of the quote of the day in 2 sentences. 6 to 7, what is the word of the day and its meaning? Let's have the next item. For numbers 8 to 11, give 4 characteristics of an academic text. Next one. For numbers 12 to 15, give 4 characteristics of non-academic text. For numbers 16 to 20, academics, tell whether the following sentences are true or false. Number 16, academic texts are written by professionals. Number 17, non-academic text uses a third-person perspective. 18, newspapers have a reference list. Number 19, Ang Probinsyano is a work of fiction. Number 20, Ibon ng Adarna is a work of fiction. So for the last part of our quiz, you are tasked to identify the perspective being used for the following sentences. Your choices is first person, second person, or third person. Number 21, you are my greatest inspiration. 22, we work together to finish the project. For numbers 23, yours is a work in progress. Number 24, she worked hard to achieve her dream. Number 25, their research is delightful to read. So that's the end of our lesson. I hope that you learned something or anything in my presentation. Looking forward for more learnings with you.